Alright guys, this is the SEC 310 Module 3 discussion board video questions. So the first question is, in what ways could you vary your teaching techniques to ensure you are reaching all the various learning styles you may have in your classroom? Refer to Chapter 6, Sequencing and Organizing Instruction. So one way that I could vary my teaching techniques is that I can use Venn diagrams, flowcharts, or webs to illustrate what I am teaching to my individual learners. And that is on the middle of page 159 in our Teaching Strategies textbook. Another thing that I can do is write things out on the whiteboard, because I know that it's helpful for students when they see the words on the board rather than standing up in front of the class and just saying it to my students, and I'm the same way as well. For my auditory learners, I'll allow them to use their phones only for recording my lessons, obviously during class, and then if the students have any questions at some point while they're working on their homework from the other night, I'll be more than happy to work with them at any time before or after school. The students can also send me an email or shoot me a text message as well if they have any questions. So the second question is, what graphic organizers could you use to present concepts in your subject area of teaching? How do graphic organizers work for children? So one type of graphic organizer that I could use to present concepts, in my case social studies, is to use Venn diagrams in order to compare and contrast two concepts or two important time periods or events, and that's on middle of page 159 in the textbook. Another type that I can use to present concepts in social studies is to use historical timelines to illustrate what I am teaching, and that's also in the middle of page 159 in the textbook. For me, I always liked using timelines personally in my social studies classes, just because I have all the events laid out on paper and I could see them in order, and I just know what event occurred when. I think that pictures are also helpful as well, because especially in social studies, by showing your students pictures about a specific war, like in World War II, for example, it allows the students to have a better idea of what the war was like, and also to have a better understanding of what you're talking about. And it also just kind of creates that impact for students to show these things really did happen, and how horrific the time period really was, and some of the things that did occur that were horrific. So I think that graphic organizers work for children because it helps them to visualize and simplify their ideas, so that when it comes to working on the final product of the assignment, it makes it easier for them to complete it, since they basically have all of their ideas written out and they have a game plan in mind. They really just have to put it all together. And I also think that graphic organizers work for children, just because when you're presenting information to a group of people on a PowerPoint, for example, and you have too much text on a slide, your class will tend to doze off and lose interest. Whereas if you place a picture on a slide, then they start to become a little more interested, and they typically will have a better idea, a better understanding of what's going on and what you're teaching them. So yeah, those are my Module 3 discussion board video questions, and thank you all for watching.